I'm 39. I'm British born Chinese, and only just now I realised I was never really living. For most of life, I was just following instructions. This podcast is the first time I've truly spoken for me. As a kid, I've always been energetic and curious and doing something, exploring, trying something new. I hated sitting still in the classroom. Just wanted to have fun all the time. I was just naturally outside the box, but life tried to put me back in place. I remember my parents sent me back to Hong Kong and China, my mum's side of the family. It's not that I didn't hate it, I actually really enjoyed, and it was very good for me. Matter of fact, I lived in Hong Kong and China for a short period of time. My memories of school, the lifestyle, it stuck to me. But I really struggled to the education system. I wasn't keeping up with it. So they decided to send me back because I remember times where I was not interested, disinterested, and was not even caring for it. So they sent me back to England, where my parents are. Back in England, same pressure, education, obedience, and make the family proud. So was expected to go uni, but deep down I knew that education wasn't my path. I wanted to play and explore and live and not really stick with the books. I was into gamings and stuff like that. So it was difficult. So in my teens, obviously I started working in the family takeaway, really. I had an early understanding that money meant freedom, because I had so much money then. I was able to buy games, clothes, meet out with my friends and treat them for a meal, McDonald's, and I felt like a G back then. I also learned that adults hate their jobs and they push through anyway because it's just work. And as a teen, I worked at the weekends and the holidays, and it wasn't really nice feeling where your friends always, let's come out on the weekends, you want to come out, have a party, have a drink and stuff like that. And I'll say, yeah, I don't finish till 10. I don't finish till 11. And by the time when I go out, they're all pissed out, drunk anyway. So it was, yes, I would try to get drunk then, but I just thought, this is just too expensive. I didn't really enjoy drinking. I didn't enjoy the alcohol taste. And I was just weird. I did not like that kind of thing. So sometimes I make it out and sometimes I'll be just too tired to enjoy it. So I learned early that there's always a trade-off between time and money. At that age, I didn't really think too deep about it, really. This is just life, just work. You earn money and then you spend money and then that was it. Looking back, I realized I chose money over short-term pleasure. It wasn't because I was greedy, but it was just how I was raised to think. I didn't get to live a normal teen life. I guess most British-born Chinese kids will probably relate to me on that one. But I did build a foundation most people my age didn't really understand until much later. While other kids were out living, I was learning how to earn, and I thought it was just enough. because money was a major factor for Chinese people. How often do you see Chinese people being poor? Very rare occasion. Being the eldest son of the family, be a role model for my two younger brothers. I picked a subject, what was it? I think it was just art and design. I think that was the only thing that I was kind of good on, because I was a bit more creative in design, or captured ideas of people, or some BS moments that you can do in art. It was just rubbish. That's no offense to the design and design people. But it felt like a culture fail, but it was misalignment to my, not really a failure really, it's just confused. I just jumped in for the sake of jumping in. So I'm speaking to like the people like me, British born Chinese listeners, if you're listening. If you're British born Chinese like me, raised under the tight Chinese community, I already know this sounds familiar. We didn't grow up in a full house of hugs. Maybe some do, maybe most not. We grew up in a house full of expectations. Expectations this, expectation that. You probably helped out in your parents' takeaway or restaurants before you even hit secondary school. You were told education was everything, even if you hated it. I surely did. I hated education. Apart from PE and sports and stuff like that, that was the only thing I was good at really. But it wasn't a path that most Chinese people be expected that be a career path. And whether you go to uni or not, you probably picked something safe. But if you pick something that is extraordinary, that's good on you. Not because it lit you up, but because it made your parents proud. That's the issue. Because you don't want to disappoint your family. I know this story because it's our story. You're not alone. You're just definitely not broken. You're just never been heard. We didn't really want to talk to any other people because we felt like nobody understands how we feel and stuff like that. But matter of fact, we Chinese people are so insecure talking about our soft side, let's say. It's very weak to show that part of us. Well, tell you this, I went university twice. I dropped out twice. My first attempt was a foundation course and I failed the first year because I was just partying and drinking and doing silly stuff like any other student, because you moved out of the family, you're far away, you're like, oh, my mum's here, not here, I'm alone. So party, drinking, a lot of video gaming, not much sleep, and then wasted. And I failed. Funny. So left being disappointed, but after returned, telling my family like, yeah, I effed up. I'm gonna work, family takeaway again. So the routine became work, video game, sleep, eat, repeat. And that's it for a couple of years. And that couple of years was just felt a week. So it just didn't feel real at all. It felt like a dream. I made a lot of online friends, so don't get me wrong, I've met some amazing people and stuff like that, but in a self-development stage, it didn't really go real well. So I was in a slump. Mum suggested that I should do volunteering because it came up to her friend's child went to do volunteering, so that sounds interesting for her, to give me that opportunity to go. So I just said like, oh, you should go 6 weeks doing volunteering. I'm like, okay. So I looked it up, I did a little bit of research. I won't go something far, a bit out of the way. I went to a place called Nepal, Kathmandu, capital of Nepal. To be honest, that 6 weeks there, it was amazing. I had a lot of diarrhea for the first 2 weeks because the water wasn't really clean. But the experience really opened my eyes, and man, seeing how happy the kids were with such little things is unbelievable. It made me realize how spoiled I was, or how spoiled we were as a community back in England, because they'll go on the side street, sell apples, and they'll make a couple of pence, not even pounds, I'm talking about a couple of pence, like 10p or 20p in total for that day. They'll be like, oh look how much money I made, and so really excited. And then I'm sitting there like, it's only not even £1, it's like 50p, and I sat there for hours. It's just crazy how the concept of money works differently. So that really inspired me by living in Nepal for 6 weeks, looking after these kids and stuff like that. So when I came back from that, I just realized, man, I need to make better for my life, because I don't appreciate things. So I've got the opportunity to improve and better my life. So I went to university again, thinking this time would be different. But it was the same thing. I had no passion for it because I thought art and design was the key for me to sort of like get that degree. And I just went in blind. I didn't really have a self reflection of what I'm good at. I just know I'm okay at it. I just went and thought, okay, I'm just gonna try and get a degree out of this. And yeah, so matter of fact, I stayed there for 2 years. First year of university is just a waste of time, because so many people go there at the first year as a art course. I say art course now. I'm gonna get slayed for saying this, because you got people that have no idea how to draw, no idea how to do art. They can't even draw a stickman properly. Not even stickman, same handwriting is horrible these days anyway. But the point is that you didn't have to learn art or had an art background to go to the art course, because mine was graphic communication. And it was just like people was just learning on the first year. The first year was just a waste of time. So literally I just did not do anything again, because like I just did the work, and this teacher was like, yep, that's good, you passed. I'm like, oh, okay. The second year came and it wasn't even more challenging. It was just like similar thing. And then yeah, I really got bored again. But meanwhile doing that, I was trying to earn more money, because me being me, I became a project manager for a company called MAK in Birmingham. It was a hustle for me, because they didn't really want me, because they knew that I was spoiled. And I have to admit, I was spoiled and I had no clue about life. And I persisted, and then they eventually gave me a position of being a partnership. So I had to give a sum of money to be a shareholder of the company and stuff like that, which I think they ripped me off. And my parents knew they ripped me off. But I was determined to sort of change my life working for a company that could potentially go me somewhere. Where to, but I don't know. But I'd like to go to a better direction than actually staying in a Chinese takeaway. So worked there for 2 years, and we did a few projects here and there, like photography, some organizations here and there. It was fun, but it was also challenging. It was a very humbling experience working with Chinese people in that high up stage, because Chinese people are just blunt as anything. It's either like, they don't even try to educate you, they'll just say, yeah, you're stupid. And they'll say like, they'll listen to you and they won't say in your face, and then they'll go, you know that feeling, right? Okay. That's what they'll do. And then they'll, behind your back, they'll talk about you, how bad you are as a person. You don't know how to do business. I'm 識做生意嘅, meaning you don't know how to do business. Of course I did not do that. I was a new boy. I did not know anything about business. I didn't go to business school and for stuff like that. I was just a very naive boy who wanted to learn. So it took me a good place. We went to Hong Kong, we did a few things, but long story short, that was 2 years. It was just 2 years of learning and really understanding that I'm no one special, and I need to. It put me down a lot, very, very a lot, because I had help, but no help, you understand? I had mental help, saying as a friend, because Patrick was my partner at the time of the business, and he would always like support me and stuff like that. Bless him. I was just lost, and I winged most of the things. Eventually I left MAK. Like I said, I lost all my confidence in myself. I couldn't land the job that I really wanted, because like lacking the qualifications and stuff like that. So I started the warehouse work. It was just back to survival mode. I didn't really want to work in a Chinese takeaway, back in the brain dead sort of like environment. I didn't really want to deal with them, stuff like that. But I did work in a Chinese takeaway at weekends, because weekends is needed for support, because it's always busy at the weekends. So I didn't mind doing that. So my schedule was Monday to Friday warehouse. Also my time partner Chowan, which is still my partner now, we lived together in my parents' place while my parents were living above the Chinese takeaway. So we were switching between warehouse, Chinese takeaway. But I jumped warehouse to warehouse to warehouse. I don't know how many times I jumped warehouse to warehouse, but I've jumped too many. Every single warehouse type of place I've been for, like Sainsbury's frozen section, Pets at Home. I don't want to name drop, but it was just too many places. But yeah, I had my fair share and stuff like that. We did earn decent money. Like me and her, we traveled local trips and experience. We did a lot of things. We brought a lot of silly things and stuff like that, like it actually do, to have that sort of temporary pleasure, I guess. And then eventually I went into personal training. Looking back at personal training career path, I was working at Virgin Active. I was for, oh my God, I worked in the Virgin Active. That was the best place you can possibly think of to work. I was arrogant. I was very, very arrogant because I know my stuff and I know I was good. I wasn't like Jesus. I just know like I'm pretty good at it comparison to a lot of other personal trainers and stuff like that. So I was chasing money and I wasn't doing it with passion. I was passionate, I can speak, but in heart I knew I wanted to convert that client to a money or for long-term money and stuff like that, instead of being, hey, I'm gonna be your best friend. Let's be together for a while. So yeah, so my mindset was so immature and really misguided. And yeah, I didn't really last that long, unfortunately, because I felt unappreciated because the people didn't see what I wanted to see. But matter of fact, I was delusional. I was very delusional. I was thinking like, yeah, I know the stuff. I know how to get a six pack. I know how to get you fit and stuff like that. But it's more than to that. So that's a different story there. So I found out my partner was pregnant, and then everything shifted. Everything shifted. We moved into a bigger place. So from a terrace at the time, it was a terrace, and then move into a house. So I went from working 40 hours a week, then I worked 50 to 60 hours a week because I needed the money. That was a time where I was like, okay, right, family time now. I need to be a man of my family. I needed to earn a lot of money to provide. And at that time, 2020, it was 2020 and 50, 60 hours a week. And I was earning between 700 to 800 pounds a week. And that was a lot of money. A lot of money. It's still now, it's actually a lot of money for a lot of people. But now inflation keeps rising. It came to realization that I've been stationary for nearly 9 years with the same money, no growth, just survive, not living. So came to a realization that years was just autopilot in life and repeat. Worked, paid the bills, blended in, and it became a version of myself that I knew how to survive but not how to live. I thought it was normal to feel disconnected, tired and lost. Maybe it's age, maybe it was being a dad, maybe I was seeing life pass too quickly, realizing I'm not too old to begin again. I am too vulnerable to keep settling. This episode is for the ones like me, the BBCs who's been quiet for too long. We've been holding down our families, biting our tongues, ticking boxes we never chose. But it's not too late. It's never too late to start over again. Even if you're 30, 40 or 50, I'm 39 and I'm starting over again because I feel like I'm not too old. You don't have to reject your roots. You just don't have to let them bury you. So if you're listening to this and it really hits your chest, reach out. You're not the only one. You're part of a new generation finally waking up. So thank you for listening and watching if you're watching this. to the end, because this is my first ever recording and it's very, very bad. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to Life Mode. Peace.